You ever taken a panel off your car only to find out that you've cracked it? In this video, I'm going to teach you how to fix it. My mother-in-law's panel that she pulled off for Mercedes having all of the tabs broken off it. I found a cheap replacement on eBay, but when it arrived, we had one big problem. Yep, it had broken in the mail. In order to repair this panel today, we're going to use one of these little plastic welders that came from Harbor Freight. The whole kit costs about $15. Alternatively, you can just use a soldering iron. You can find these at Walmart for less than $5. They're cheap, easy, and they do the trick as well. They just might take a little longer because the head isn't quite as thick. The type of plastic we're repairing today is called ABS. It is typically used on cars all over the place, and it is what's known as a thermoplastic. So we can use this to actually melt the plastic back together and hold it in place. Glue would be not as strong. Much like the process of welding metal, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to tack it in place. Heat up just a small area, melt the plastic, make sure you don't burn all the way through, and then smooth it over just like that. Do that in a few areas. I love that smell. Now that the part is tacked in place, you can notice that that crack doesn't expand anymore. These tack welds are doing their job. Now that everything is put in place, we're going to plastic weld sections at a time. That way we don't overheat the whole thing and have it to start warp. The technique I like to use is you start melting it in the place that you're going to work, and then you back it off a little, back it off, back it off, and as you can see, it's kind of rolling the plastic. Pretty much how metal is welded, same kind of idea. Once that's cooled off a little bit, I take the whole thing and I kind of smush it down to bury the area that I welded.
Yeah, you like that? Yeah, you do.
To help speed this area up to cool down, you can use the air compressor. Now that that area is cured, we can move on to the next part over here.
I'm a pro welder now, because I watched Modified.
You're stupid. Very stupid. If you're working in a piece that has a little bit more traffic and needs more structural rigidity, the kit from Harbor Freight comes with this mesh wire. You have to add a whole lot of extra heat. The same idea applies. You simply heat up an area, move on to the next, heat it up some more, and keep going all the way down until the mesh is fully embedded in the plastic that you're repairing. As you're doing a repair, you might realize that you need more material to add to the actual repair that you're doing. The Harbor Freight kit comes with these plastic strips of different types of plastic that are great for adding plastic when you need it. Alternatively, zip ties. When adding plastic to a part, it's just as easy as using that zip tie, for example. I personally really like the zip ties, and just melting it all along the part. And this will add additional rigidity, not to overheat the part like I did, because what can happen is on the opposite side it bulges out like that, so we're going to have to fix it from this side as well. If you're able to repair the part from both ends of the plastic, that way you know that it's a really solid weld. If you can't get back to it, go a little deeper on the opposite side. If the plastic part that you're repairing, the side that you're repairing is actually facing something invisible, what you can do is you can take the very flat portion of this little plastic welder and you can melt over everything that you've done repairing. Eventually it will lay pretty flat. I promise. You can also hit it with some 220 grit sandpaper, and this will help smooth it out as well. And if you need to, top it with some black plastic paint. And now she's just as strong as new. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more like it, hit that follow button and tell your mother I love her.